As Ukraine's Kursk incursion continues, Moscow has renewed its strategy against Kyiv, it seems. Russian strikes across Ukraine have killed at least 3 people, injured several, and damaged energy infrastructure. In fact, explosions were heard in at least 6 regions of the country. According to the regional governors, Russian forces killed 1 civilian in the central Dnipropetrovsk region, another in the Zaporizhia region, and a third in the western city of Lutsk. In the capital, Kyiv, at least 7 explosions were heard and residents rushed to take shelter in metro stations. This amid a nationwide alert warning against Russian aerial attacks. Russian attacks also targeted energy facilities in the Lviv region in the west of the country. Earlier, an attack on an industrial facility in the eastern region of Poltava wounded 5 people. But Ukraine has responded with crossfire and counterclaims. In retaliation, Ukraine has launched a drone attack on 2 key Russian cities, Saratov and Engels. A woman has been wounded, several homes damaged. The governor of the region has said that a residential complex in Saratov was damaged by falling debris, but the drones were destroyed by Russia's air defense systems. In Engels, the top floor of a residential building was damaged. Emergency services were put up at affected sites in both Saratov and Engels. The region is several hundred kilometers from the border with Ukraine. Russia, in fact, has a strategic bomber military base in Engels that Ukraine has attacked numerous times since Moscow's invasion in February 2022. Meanwhile, Ukraine has also accused its Moscow-allied neighbor Belarus of concentrating troops on the shared border, warning against unfriendly actions. Kyiv has asked Minsk not to make mistakes under Moscow's pressure, saying it had recorded the presence of Wagner fighters on the border. Ukraine has urged the Belarusian armed forces to withdraw away to a distance greater than the firing range of Belarus's systems. Remember, Belarus had allowed the Russian troops to use its territory as a launchpad for their invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. The statement comes as Kyiv mounts an incursion into Russia's Kursk region and as Russia continues its advance into eastern Ukraine. The Ukrainian President, Volodymyr Zelensky, has reported further advances into Kursk. He said that forces have taken 2 more settlements under their control and that active actions are underway in 1 more settlement. As part of an effort to counter Russia's advances in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region, Ukraine claims to have seized considerable Russian territory in Kursk region and captured hundreds of Russian soldiers. Zelensky has also said that the country's incursion into Kursk was launched preventively to stop Russia from occupying Ukrainian cities of Kharkiv and Sumy.
And their next step was to prepare everything in the northern part of our country on the side of the city of Sumy near the Kursk region. And the difference here is that we did it preventively so that they would not capture our city and we were able to do it before them.
And for more on this, our correspondent Anas Malik is now joining us live on the broadcast from Kyiv. Anas, bring us up to speed with what you have seen around you and what the last few hours have looked like in the Ukrainian capital.
Well, Molly, this morning, Ukrainians woke up to the sounds of explosions and air raid sirens in what is said to be the biggest Russian attack on Ukraine since the invasion began in February 2022. We counted at least 4 explosions between 7:45 a.m. local time and 8:30 a.m. local time. Now, the Ukrainian president's office has said that these explosions and these attacks were mainly targeted across the country, be that be in the west, north, east and in the south and even in the center where I am in Kyiv as well. What we also know is that these energy infrastructures, as a result of these targetings, at least 65% of the city of Kyiv has been out of power. There is a power outage. In fact, Ukrenergo, the Ukraine energy company, has now been authorized to conduct emergency power outages or load shedding to manage the infrastructure losses. Ukraine on its part has vowed that the Russian side would have to pay. We're hearing air raid sirens as latest as about 30 minutes ago, while life does go on, but Ukrainian side on its part, they say that they will do whatever they can to avenge these attacks. Molly?
Right. Give us also a sneak peek into what life is like for the Ukrainians on the ground right now. In the midst of all that's going on, like you say, life does go on as usual, as the scenes behind you also suggest. There is movement on the roads. So people are carrying on with their lives, given that the war has gone on for 2 years now. But given what's transpired over the last few hours, what are you picking up on the ground in terms of how this has really affected lives of the people?
Well, earlier this morning, when the air raid sirens and the booms and explosions were heard quite loud, there was barely any traffic here on the roads. I'm standing on the main, one of the main streets of Kyiv, and just get aside for the benefit of our viewers to give you a sense. Right now, there seems to be utter sense of normalcy, and this is just about 40 minutes after there was an air raid siren. But time to time, we hear that the air raid sirens do go off. And then Ukrainian nationals, especially the residents of Kyiv, where I am right now, they end up going to these shelters. Some not so lucky, some they try to neglect these warnings, and as a consequence of which, we do see that at times when these rockets or missiles or drones are intercepted, their debris do fall, and that results into civilian damage. But what you see behind me, it does give you a sense of that normalcy, because remember, 2.5 years of war. And life they have to come to terms with it. There is a grim reality that is there, that war is upon them, that war is just at the gates, but the Ukrainians here, they vow that they are absolutely resilient, and they will continue to contribute in whatever positive manner for their nation building. Molly?
Right, we're leaving it there for the moment. Anas Malik getting us those updates from on the ground in Kyiv. Thanks very much. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.